I'm really up for this signing. This is what I like to see in a footballer: pace, skill, technique, gets me off my seat. I'm really up for this. So I really, really hope that Spurs can be a bit decisive, move forward. And then without jumping the gun, you see this morning lots of talks that Arsenal are now talking to Madueke. And I'm just hoping that Arsenal don't buy Madueke and then allows Chelsea to get Kudus. But I'm excited, man. I'd love this as a signing. I'd love it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get onto. What do you see Kudus as being in our team? Because I think for me, I'm really excited. I'll start there. I know there's some Spurs fans, and Sean sort of touched on it yesterday when he come onto your show. There's a lot of Spurs fans that are spinning this to be Kudus isn't that good because he's had a bad season. We all know West Ham had a terrible season, but more than anything, they was under 2 terrible managers. I don't think Plettenberg got anything out of that attack. Because I don't know about you, Savva. When we remember doing streams in the summer last year, they were signing Somerville, full crew, signing all these attacking players. It was like, West Ham's attack is so much better than Tottenham's. And all these things were going on, talking about how good they were going to be.
Yeah.
And all of the players fell short. So I don't think there's too much that you can take from Kudus' last season. But we know the season before that, he was phenomenal. So what do you think of him as a signing for Tottenham? And I suppose of what you've seen of him so far in the Premier League?
First of all, what he gives us is something completely different to any other profile that we've got. You've got Brennan Johnson, who's not really a right winger, but wants to ghost into the box and score goals. But let's be fair, doesn't do anything as an actual winger. Matisse Tell, could he come good in a few years? Sure. But at the moment, it is very raw. Solomon is not good enough. You've got Odobert again. He's another one where it's a bit hit and miss. This guy for me is oven ready, Jords. This guy for me is quick, strong as well. He's a man, and he's like you've seen those combinations where he's brushing people off as he's driving the ball.
I mean, he had a punch up with a few of our players.
Yeah,
he put a few on the floor. So
yeah.
I love that. I love a bit. Like, I remember when Jose said it, like, it's part of my French people, but we need a bit of cunts in us. Like, you need to have that side too. Like, you need to have that in your team. And Kudus has shown that already. Richarlison, before he came to us, had the same little punch up with like Romero. You need those players in your team. You need those passion players that are really going to like put their heart on their sleeve. And in the game, they might be a bit aggressive. They might get into a bit of a scrap. But far too often, Spurs have been the nice guys. And I've been tired and fed up of seeing the nice guys on the pitch, like Brennan Johnson on that right wing getting bullied, like I said, trying to run past players, but just not showing that aggressiveness that you need sometimes. Jed Spence has done it. Like, whenever he's 1v1 with players, the one thing he does is make sure that he's close, he's tight, he's aggressive with them. And that's the one thing I think we're missing. Sorry, continue.
No, I agree. Listen, I just think he gives us something very, very different. He's the best dribbler in the Premier League. If you look at the data over the last 2 years, he's got the most take-ons in the Premier League the last 2 years. I want to see that. I want to see a wide man that when he gets one-on-one, I don't think, are you going to cut back and pass it 5 yards? I want to see him take men on. I want to be frustrated by him because he's trying skills and trying to beat a man. I've got no problem with that. When players give the ball away because they do the easy thing, it annoys me. I don't mind. If you're trying to take your man on and every now and then you can't get past him, I'm cool with that. But to your point, George, the key thing for me here is we live in a world where everything is right now. Oh, he's had a bad year. He's terrible. Listen, I watched this lad for Ajax. I watched this lad for Ghana. His first year at West Ham. This is a proper footballer.
Yeah.
Right? He's a proper footballer. This is a guy that's got that difference maker in him. Now, yeah, he's been at West Ham, who haven't had the greatest year, a bit like us. They haven't had the greatest year. If you go to his transfer market page and actually look at the number of games he's played in different positions this season, they've not settled him down with a position. I don't think that will be what Frank will do. Frank will get him a position, and I think Frank turns him into Mbeumo. I think he gets that output out of him. Maybe not year one, but I think he says to him, hey, you know how good you are at football. Technically and skillfully, you're one of the best in the league. How can we get you in more dangerous positions to get your goals up? And I think he'll work with him on that.
Do you know what? You were speaking my language, because I said the exact same thing. Literally, when I was looking at this signing, I said, this is the winger that he will make into Bryan Mbeumo. Bryan Mbeumo, what he done last season, took many, many years of Thomas Frank to get him to that level. Because he brought him, I think, 3 or 4 seasons ago, and he's been building his way up as a secondary player, then becoming the first option. And after Tony left, finally, he's the go-to option in the attack. But with Kudus, I think at West Ham, he suffered a bit at times. Because in his first season, he had to force himself to become that option above Bowen, be the go-to guy, getting the ball, being the creative outlet for them. But even again, like I said, he's not really picking up the ball in the dangerous areas. For West Ham, he's getting the ball from quite far back, usually in their half, and having to drive past 3 or 4 players down the wing or through the middle of the pitch to create. So in for Tottenham, for a team that's going to be a lot more set up, a bit more structured, getting that ball out to him, just like what you said there, picking up the ball in those half spaces. I think that's what Frank's going to do.
How much did we get the ball last season? George, how much last season did we get the ball to whoever was wide, whether it was Son, whether it was Johnson, Odegaard, Tell, whoever was out wide, they constantly had the football and constantly didn't beat men. Now, I know that Frank plays a different style of football, but look how quickly Frank got the ball to Schade, Wissa, and Mbeumo. Look how quick he gets those danger men. You want the danger men with the ball in the final third. I don't want them picking it up in our half. Yeah, because now you're saying, right, you've got to beat 8 men in a mazy dribble, and that's fine. But I want them one-on-one, get them the ball, get them on a transition, and then I think you see the best of a player like Kudus. So for me, I'm all over this, Jords. I'm all over this like a rash. I would love this as our right-sided player cutting in on his left. Love it.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love it. And it's a deal that I'm getting really excited about. They've said that the deal could be done for around £60 million. And that looks like right now, I think that seems to be the sweet spot for Tottenham. A few years ago, it was 45 million pounds. We used to make a lot of signings in around that. It seems like 60 to 65 right now is Tottenham's sweet spot, where we're maximum, where we're looking to spend money on a big player, or I say a fairly big player, because obviously we have Richarlison and Solanke in the years prior. But those are the points where I think Spurs is starting to perk up. But like you mentioned there's not just us that are in for him. When we brought up the report, it did say other teams are in for him. And like you also mentioned, with that report coming out, Florian Plettenberg then doubled on top of that and said, as we can see here, Madueke is going to go. Well, Arsenal are in for Madueke. He's one of their top targets. We know Chelsea have just signed João Pedro, Bino Gittins, and they're looking to get rid of some right-hand-sided players so they could potentially feed into that Kudus still. Are you worried now? Because if this still does start to speed up and we don't make a move on Kudus, do you think Chelsea could come in and, I suppose, hijack?
Look, it's always my worry. Even if they don't sell him, this is always my worry, is that at any moment we hear, this deal is just a few days away, and then Chelsea have come in overnight, offered him whatever he wants, they can pay the same fee, and I hate to say it, Chelsea are a bigger draw. They are a bigger draw. Now, you've got the argument of, can we turn around and say to him, well, you're our main man if you come to Tottenham. At Chelsea, you might not be the main man, you might rotate. But we know that's not how all footballers work. We know that they're going to look and go, well, hang on, who else is Chelsea buying? And they're buying and they're buying and they're buying. Yeah. So, yeah, of course it worries me. We saw this with Pedro Neto last year, didn't we? We've seen this with multiple people. They did it to us with Willian. We've had it with Spurs with Luis Luis Diaz, sorry. At Liverpool came in and took him. So, of course, I always worry the bigger clubs are going to come in. But I guess that goes down to, if we are in talks, if this is the guy we want and a deal can be done, I guess that's where the club have to move quick. The club have to move quick, right? And go, hey, you're our main guy. What do you want, West Ham? What do you want? Let's pay it and let's get it done. But yeah,
that's exactly it there, man. That's where the problem I think lies for us is, are Spurs going to speed up this deal, knowing that there's other clubs involved, knowing that there's movements going on in the window that could impact this deal? So, because if we start to slow down the talks with West Ham, because I'm sure with Kudus, it's quite simple. He will accept Tottenham, he will accept Chelsea. But it's only going to be whether he will come on top to Tottenham over Chelsea if we agree the deal with West Ham way before Chelsea do. We need to, in my eyes, we need to get this deal wrapped up within the next week because we know how Chelsea move in the window. They could probably accept a bid for Madueke, know that that's probably going to be pushed through, and then start to make a move on this Kudus deal. And like Mr. Udang said in there earlier, we are far too familiar with this case. We already know what happened before with Willian.
This is why I don't allow myself to say. This is why, you know what, like last night, I already saw, Jords, I kid you not, man. I'm flicking, I always flick through YouTube at last thing at night just to, just to see who's live and say hello and whatever. And I saw, welcome to Tottenham, Mohammed Kudus. And it was someone who put a video together of all his skill. And I'm like, hang on, can we learn? Can we learn? Because otherwise what will happen is we'll all big this up. And then unfortunately what will happen is everyone will then just go, oh, Levy, you're a prick. You didn't get it done. And look, let's see. Chelsea in these circumstances, the difference between us and Chelsea, when Chelsea were talking to João Pedro, it went like that, right? Chelsea were talking to Palmer, it went like that. That's what these clubs do. Tottenham now, what I don't want to be seeing is we get to the 15th, 16th of July, and it's, well, Tottenham are thinking about making a bit, let's move quickly. Let's get the player we want. And I think it could settle down a lot of the fan base, Jords. It would be nice to get that first team signing in. Not kids, not subs, but yes, we now know that as part of our new look front three next year, Kudus is in. I'm happy.